I've talked a couple times before in the past about how to stop reacting and stop reacting to things like somebody calling you a slur, somebody calling you any kind of name, somebody telling you what to do that in a way you didn't really like at the time. It is purely a base animalistic instinct to react to people. It's very emotional. It's very much a feeling that everybody feels at the same time and very much in the same way. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can go all in on understanding your emotions and your feelings, how important that is, how stoicism is important, but it's a bit retarded when you actually think about it, because you shouldn't ignore your emotions. You should actually understand them and use them to your advantage, and how you should start acting and creating a life that is yours, a reality that makes sense, instead of just reacting day to day to whatever may happen on your way to anywhere you want to go. So, for a little bit of context and a little bit of a story, over the past 4 years, I've been improving myself, looking to get better at a few different certain set of skills within the business world, which has led me to create my own business, which has forced me into becoming the best version of myself so that I can improve my profits in the same way. So, how have I done this? Well, one lesson and this is why I made this video in the first place, I wrote down how to not react or whatever in my notes. And it realistically, at one point in time, I was learning about a lot of different things at the very start. And I started looking into stoicism and philosophy and all this sort of stuff just to understand a little bit better about it. And what I ended up happening is I ended up talking in a very disconnected way, in a very completely cold, completely calculating, completely uncaring way. And I noticed that that's actually not the way to go about talking to people in real life if you want to have a positive outcome. So, maybe 6 months ago, I used to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I didn't really see any changes, and I started getting really pissed off at the results I was getting on a day-to-day basis. And so I decided to look into things such as charisma and how to become better at talking, better at speaking, in order to leave that stoicism behind and instead understand my emotions, understand my own psychology, understand how my brain works, so that way I can use that to my advantage whenever I'm in work mode, but also in social mode, right? So, how have I done this? Well, step number one was definitely understanding how my brain works. Okay, if I'm angry, why am I angry? Okay, if I'm sad, why am I sad? What is going on when I'm sad? What is going on when I'm angry? What does every single emotion work? How does it work? Why does it work? What are the triggers in a physical sense, in a psychological sense, in a mental sense, any kind of sense? I studied all of these different emotions, understanding exactly how they worked, to come up with my own version of how can I use my brain to its full extent. And now, after having done all of these different experiments, all of these different interactions with different kinds of people, and also going at and understanding these emotions over and over and over again, I came to the conclusion that it's actually not that hard to become emotionally intelligent about how you work as a human, both in the emotional sense and the feelings, whatever, and the physical sense, combining both together in order to achieve the outcome you want. And so I heavily recommend you guys, if you haven't done this already, this will set you apart from most people out there in the world, is that you study your emotions and you understand, okay, what are my triggers? What does that look like? What is the point of this emotion? What is the point of that emotion? What is this telling me? And the best way I've found to do this is using, like, let's say, I used to use ChatGPT when I started, categorizing, like documenting what I was thinking about. But now I've noticed that ChatGPT actually has a very massive, big filter on. And so I've decided to move to Grok just to document and to really think, okay, I'm feeling this right now, or I need to do this, or I'm doing this, or da da da. And tell Grok exactly what's going on in my life, so that way it can pull from that database of knowledge that I've given it, and it can give me some important and valuable conclusions as to how I can approach what I'm approaching better, faster, and more efficiently to fulfill my goals. And so it's very, very useful. AI is a massively useful tool that everybody should be using, and if you're not, then you're missing out. So that's what I did first. So understanding my emotions. So I went on YouTube and I typed in, how does this work? How does this work? How does this work? And then I used everything that I understood from that, went into sales, into business, sold myself to a bunch of business owners, understood and empathized with others. Empathy is very important. So I suggest you study not only human psychology and how people work, how you work yourself, also so that you can empathize with others and you can be like, yes, this makes sense. And then from there, I went to sell my services, empathize with business owners so that I could sell more and I could make more money, and then help them do more things, like for instance, grow their business, get more clients, that kind of stuff. And so it would be very, like, I guess, crucial for me to understand all of these things if I actually wanted to help these business owners better, because if I don't understand their psychology and if I don't put myself in their position, in their shoes, and as if I was selling to myself, then in that case I would probably not be very successful in sales. So that was the most important part at the very start. Next up, and I used to be an introvert, so this is what I did to get out of my introverted state into more of a social state, or more of a, I can like a button I could switch on and off that puts on the social act or not. And so what I could do is, what I did is I went out and I did maybe 50 to, I didn't really count them, but I must have done at least 50 to 100 businesses in person, and just hitting them up, just going in the door, just boom, hello, boom, hello, boom, hello, boom, hello, and just saying hi, saying like, hey, I've been doing this, I've noticed you guys will make a good fit, what are you guys doing? Can you guys give me a little bit of information about what's going on? What have you tried so far? Everything like that. And then say hey, if you want, we could have a chat about it. I could tell you what I've done for other people, see what we can come up with, da da da. So that's basically what I've done, hit up a bunch of businesses. And this completely deleted my social anxiety. I used to have these panic attacks 4 years ago, and now it's whenever I enter a business, I'm just this is interesting. What is this? And then I just start asking questions and I immerse myself. It's kind of like playing a game when you actually think about it. So just did that a bunch. Then what I did at the same time was put myself in a social situation where I was just, whenever I would see a very attractive woman, I would just go up to her and say, hey, I think you're really beautiful. I think we should get to know each other. would you like to, like, just give me your number, like, boom, like, did that a bunch of times, a couple times, and then from that I started getting better at social interactions, social rejection, being okay, like having people telling me no, or fuck off, or I don't like you, or you look ugly, or whatever. And which I don't think I've ever gotten that one, actually. One person did tell me I looked like a gremlin. I don't know why and how that came to be, but maybe I'm just a gremlin, you know. Who knows? So, social interaction, very important. Understanding how your brain works, and then going from there, understanding all your emotions, connecting all the dots together, and then that's what allowed me to understand my emotions better. And as well, I go to the gym every single day, so I can vent out a little bit of, I guess it's kind of like frustration or anger or some kind of, I need some physical output that I can just like touch, you know, like do something. Like, it's like you need to be able to do something with your hands. As a man, I think that's very important, because that's helped me a lot. So not only do you need to study yourself and understand how you work internally, but you also need to focus on how you work externally. Okay, what are my triggers? What is this going to feel like? How can I just like go to the gym every single day, optimize that, do my best as possible in order to use my emotions to my advantage, right? It's like if I go to the gym, I get an endorphin and a whatever it may be, fucking oxytocin boost. And then in that case, for the rest of the day, I feel a little bit more energized, and I know that I'm not going to be tired, or I'm not going to be as, I'm not going to feel as shitty as if I would to not go to the gym. So it's a very good booster to take a break between work sessions that I use. So there's that. And so if we summarize a little bit of what we talked about so far, it's first off, you need to understand your emotions, how they work, how they feel, what are your triggers, all that kind of stuff. So I suggest you look it up on YouTube, or you look it up on Google or ChatGPT or Grok or any kind of AI. Just ask it some questions, understand how it works, so that way you can use it to your advantage. Second is you need to learn how to empathize with others. You need to learn how to communicate to others and socialize with others, so that you can put yourself in their shoes, and then you can communicate with them much, much better than anybody else. And if you're an introvert, that is not an excuse. I used to be an introvert as well before, and it is something that you can change and you can get better at. So that's the second thing. The third thing is you need to be able to link both your internal and your external feelings and emotions, not only when you're doing this, but also when you're thinking, and come up with a way that you can control every single output, so that way you're not reacting as much. It's like some reactions like are completely fine, like it doesn't really matter, but some reactions, like for instance, if somebody threatens you or says like, hey, you're fucking ugly, or you stink, or you or you're a piece of shit, or go like, or something, even something racist, if you get triggered by racist things. In that case, you just look at them and you're like, why would I care what you have to say? It's like, you're so inferior. Why would I care? And I think it's Mike Tyson that said something about this, about if somebody can get I don't think this is exactly what he said, but if somebody can get a reaction out of you, he's your master. And so that really put everything into perspective, as like whenever somebody makes you angry, he's basically your master. And I don't know why my hair looks like that, but who cares? This is a reaction, because I've seen my fucking face in the camera, and it's not par my standards as to presenting myself. Oh well, I'll have to fix it later, whatever. So yeah, so Mike Tyson basically said, if somebody can take a reaction, can get a reaction out of you, can manipulate your feelings, can get you to do something else, then in that case, they're your master, and you're their slave. You're a slave to the reactions that you grant to other people. And so if you never react and you always choose what to do, then in that case, you are the master of your own mind. This is very important. If you actually want to do something that you want to set your mind to and you want to actually succeed in or get done or achieve, then in that case, you will need to control your mind, because every single person that controls their mind can control the output that they have on society and on reality. And this is very important. So you need to take some time not only to become more intelligent in terms of knowledge about certain things that I've talked about in this video, like empathy, emotional intelligence, understanding your emotions and your feelings, all that sort of stuff, understanding what are your triggers, all of it. And so this is going to help you control your own mind, not in a do as I say, like forcing, but instead understanding like, okay, I feel angry right now. Do I want to act angry? Is there a point to acting angry in this situation? Would it be a strategic, in my best strategic interest, to act angry right now? Or would it just be retarded? In that case, I'm pretty sure you can come to the conclusion that most of the time it's retarded. But if in certain circumstances somebody fucks around and finds out, it is necessary to employ the use of anger and violence if necessary. But most of the time it's not, because in today's society it's a very peaceful society in terms of walking the street and talking to people. Usually it's pretty peaceful. So you have to think for yourself, okay, how and when and how and why is there a point to me doing the things I thought I should be doing? If I go outside and somebody calls me, I don't know, something racist, do I give a shit or not? Is this person somebody of importance? Not really. Is somebody going to remember this interaction? Not really. But if I am the leader in a meeting and somebody disrespects me by saying something racist, and I need to make an example out of them, or else all of the other people in the meeting are gonna think, he let that guy disrespect him. You know what I mean? If you need to do that, then in that case, it's necessary. I understand, and that's fine. But most of the times, it's better to belittle people than to get angry at them. All right? There's a lot of different emotions in your mind, right? A lot of different ways you can solve a problem. And usually the best way is, I've found personally, is to stick with who you are. If you're a strong, independent, masculine man that knows what he wants and that is striving towards getting what he wants, then in that case, you shouldn't be scared of other people. You shouldn't act like a victim. You shouldn't act like somebody who knows nothing. You should act the way you are. And if somebody fucks around and finds out, then you get to deal the punishment. And then you just need one last thing that completes the entire equation of what I've talked about today, is that you need to understand cause and effect, reality. Understanding that in reality, if you do something, it's going to result in something else. And if you don't do something, it's going to result in something else. So at the end of the day, you need to be careful, because your actions have consequences. It's very easy to get swept up on in your emotions, by your emotions, but you need to be careful, because most of the time when you get swept up, by your emotions. You're not looking at the outcome. But when you look at the outcome, it's much easier to come up with a strategic point of should you really do this or should you not? If that makes sense. And I hope it does. So I appreciate every single one of you guys watching until the end of the video. And as per usual, like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Just seeing like one comment or just like one additional viewer or one additional subscriber, I'm just like, yes. So nice. Just growing and doing something that actually, I think it matters. You're free to think it doesn't matter, but I think it matters. If I can help just one of you guys just do a little bit better, and then you come back to me in 5 years in the comments and you say, hey, you really helped me out with so and so, actually. I'm just like, perfect. It was not all for nothing. That's just all I want. Very simple. So yeah, if you want to see more of these videos, feel free to subscribe and check in every single day. I post roughly around the same time, one video a day, maybe a couple shorts here and there, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you around. It's a beautiful day. It's time to get back to work, and I will see you tomorrow. See ya.